Hi and welcome to Turingtalks. So in today's video, we are going to see how to work with the OpenAI API using Python. OpenAI's API is a powerful tool that lets developers use advanced AI models for text generation, image generation, transcription, and so many other use cases. So in this video, we will see how to work with the OpenAI's text generation API using Python. So if you don't know yet, OpenAI is an AI research and development company and is the team behind the groundbreaking model chatgpt. They have developed some of the most advanced models to date. So they aim to ensure that AI benefits all of humanity. OpenAI's API allows us, developers, to access these models, integrating AI capabilities within our applications. So there are several models which are provided by OpenAI. For example, the GPT, which is the generative pre-trained transformer. GPTs are used for generating human-like text. Then there is DALL-E for creating images from text. Then we have Whisper. It's a model that can convert audio into text. And we have TTS, which is text-to-speech. So these are a sets of models that can convert text into natural sounding spoken audio. And then we have embeddings models. So these are models that can convert text into a numerical form. So these embeddings are used to custom train or fine-tune the ChatGPT model. So these APIs change the way we interact with these AI technologies, from automating content creation to developing new ways of generating digital art. So in this video, let's see how to work with the text generation API. So before we begin, we have to get the API keys from OpenAI. You can find a link for where you can find the API keys in the description below. If you have any questions regarding that, please let me know in the comments. So we'll be using a Google Colab notebook for this project. So let's first install the OpenAI library using the pip command. Since we are using the notebook, we'll be using the exclamation mark before the command for the notebook to treat this command as a shell command instead of Python. So pip install OpenAI. Great. So once you have installed the OpenAI library, let's create a client to work with the OpenAI API. So client equal to OpenAI, and we'll be adding the API key here as a parameter. The best way to add API keys is to have them in an environment variable, but for simplicity's sake, we'll do it here. Great, we're all set. Now let's start asking some questions to ChatGPT using the OpenAI API. So we'll start with generating some text. I'll ask the GPT a simple question to list out the continents in the world. So let's first write the code and see how the code works. So here's what this code does. Client.chat.completions.create. This method calls the completions object of the chat interface. So basically, it's requesting the API to generate a completion or the response based on the given parameters. And the model we are using here is GPT 3.5 Turbo. So we are telling the API which model to use. So we have different variants of GPT models. For example, there is GPT-4, there is GPT-4 Turbo Preview, etc. So now we are ready to print the response. The messages parameter takes a list of message objects representing the conversation context the model should consider when generating its response. So in our case, there is only one message in the list, which is the role of the user, and the content is to list out the continents in the world. So we are saying, as a user, list out the continents in the world. So this will tell the GPT to list out the continents in the world, and there is also another role called system, which we will see shortly. But for now, we can just print the contents and see what the response is. So we are going to access response.choices and the 0th index. And we are doing this because we are assuming there might be multiple choices, which is more typical in other cases of completions. For example, if you are going to have multiple inputs, you will get multiple responses. So in our case, we just have one input. So we are expecting one response. So response.choices 0th index.message.content gets the first choice. And then we will access the message object content within that choice. So this content attribute contains the generated text response to the input prompt. Here we go. It lists all the 7 continents. So in summary, this code sends a prompt to the OpenAI GPT 3.5 Turbo model asking it to list out the continents in the world. It then prints the model's response to the console. I hope this is clear. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. So you can see that this is very similar to how ChatGPT works. But there are also fun things that we can do using the text generation API. For example, you can ask it to pretend to be a chef. Now let's try the same code again. Only this time we will add a system prompt. So a system prompt tells the model to behave in a certain way. In our case, to be a chef. So I'm going to say that you are a chef, you take a food as an input and tell the user the recipe. And for any other input, just say that it's not a food item. Great. Now let's print the response for pizza. Here you go. We can see how to make a pizza based on the input that we have given. Now, if we try to give something else as an input other than pizza or a food item, you'll get the response as not a food item. So this should help you understand the fun ways you can use the text generation model. So let's try one more example. Let's see how we can generate custom data from GPT. For example, if you're building an application where you need the output to be in a certain format, let's say CSV or JSON, you can also tell that to GPT to only output the data in a particular format. So let's modify the code and ask the GPT to always generate the output in an array, with each line of the output being a value in an array. So now whatever question you ask the GPT, it will respond in an array of values. So we are asking it to list out the continents of the world, and you can see that now the response is in an array. So I hope this helped you to understand how to work with the text generation model of OpenAI's API. So by understanding these basics, you're now equipped to start experimenting with OpenAI API in your Python projects. So remember, the key to mastering these APIs is to practice. So don't hesitate to try out different prompts and settings and see what you can come up with. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. You can also check out Turingtalks.ai, where I publish a project-based tutorial every single day. And you can also directly reach out to me if you have any questions. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you soon with a new topic. Cheers.